The moment she realizes you are never coming back for real is not the moment you block her. It is not the moment you post something online. It is not the moment you act cold, angry, or proud. It is the moment your energy disappears from the old pattern completely. No chasing, no checking, no hidden waiting, no emotional messages at midnight, no asking mutual friends, no posting to get a reaction, no trying to make her jealous, no trying to prove you are okay, no quietly hoping she sees your pain and finally understands what she lost. Just silence with self respect. And that is what hits different because before, maybe she knew the old version of you. The version who would come back after a few days, the version who would say he was done but still check her stories, the version who would get hurt, then write a long paragraph, the version who would try to explain his heart to someone who already knew he cared, the version who would keep the door open even after she treated him like an option. But this time something changes. You do not come back, not because you hate her, not because you want revenge, not because you want to punish her, because you finally understand that every time you went back to someone who was not choosing you clearly, you were leaving yourself behind. And a man can only abandon himself so many times before something inside him says enough. That is where the real story begins because when a woman pulls away, goes cold, ignores you, chooses another man, stops replying, or acts like the connection meant less than it did, most men feel a powerful urge to do something immediately. They want to fix, they want to talk, they want to explain, they want to ask what changed, they want to remind her of the good moments. They want to prove that nobody will love her the way they did. But be honest, most of the time, that urge is not wisdom. It is panic. It is your nervous system screaming for relief. It is your ego wanting proof you still matter. It is your heart trying to reopen a door because the silence feels too painful to accept. And when a man lets panic lead him, he starts moving in ways that make him respect himself less. He sends the message, then he waits. He checks if she read it. Then he checks if she is online. Then he checks her story. Then he wonders who she is with. Then he sends another message, but tries to make it sound casual. Then he feels ashamed because deep down he knows he is not moving from strength. He is moving from fear, fear of losing her, fear of being replaced, fear of being forgotten, fear that if he stops trying, everything will truly be over. But there is a truth a man has to learn if he wants his power back. If something only survives because you keep chasing it, it is not standing on mutual effort. It is standing on your fear. And once you see that clearly, you cannot keep calling desperation love. You cannot keep calling anxiety loyalty. You cannot keep calling one sided effort devotion. You cannot keep calling emotional self abandonment romance. At some point, you have to stop, not to hurt her, to stop hurting yourself. That is the moment she did not expect. She may have expected you to become emotional. She may have expected you to beg. She may have expected you to reach out after a few lonely nights. She may have expected one memory, one song, one post, one soft message from her to pull you back into the old role, but you did not return to that role. You became quiet, you became disciplined, you became harder to reach emotionally. And not because you became cruel, because you became clear. There is a difference. Cruel silence says, I want you to suffer. Self respecting silence says, I refuse to keep suffering the same way. Cruel silence is still obsessed with her reaction. Self respecting silence is focused on your recovery. Cruel silence is a game. Self respecting silence is a boundary. And that boundary is what changes everything. Because when you are truly not coming back for real, you are not just refusing to text. You are refusing to return to the weaker version of yourself, the version who explained too much, the version who tolerated too much, the version who checked too much, the version who made her mood the center of his day, the version who treated her silence like the final judge of his worth, the version who could not sleep because one person stopped choosing him clearly. That version is the one that is never coming back. And when that version is gone, she may feel it. She may feel that the old access is gone. She may feel that your attention is no longer automatic. She may feel that she cannot pull you back with one soft message. She may feel that the door she thought would always remain open is no longer open in the same way. But do not make her feelings your mission. Your mission is not to make her panic. Your mission is not to make her regret. Your mission is not to make her beg. Your mission is to become the kind of man who does not need her reaction to feel whole. That is the deeper victory. A man does not regain respect by chasing. He regains power by staying calm when everything inside him wants to react. He regains power by stepping back when fear tells him to move closer. He regains power by controlling his emotions, rebuilding his life, and letting his actions speak louder than his words. The goal is not to manipulate her into returning. The goal is to become a man who no longer loses himself when someone walks away. Because if she comes back and you instantly collapse, you did not heal, you were just waiting. If she sends one message and your whole routine disappears, you did not grow, you were just starving. If she says, I miss you, and you forget every lesson the pain taught you, you did not become stronger. You just became quiet for a while. Real strength is not proven when she is gone. Real strength is proven when she returns and you still remember your standards. That is why this moment matters. The moment she realizes you are never coming back for real is also the moment you realize you cannot go back to being the man who needed to be chosen so badly that he forgot to choose himself. Now, let us talk about the mistake most men make when they want her to feel their absence. They disappear physically, but they stay attached mentally. They do not text, but they still check. They do not call, but they still ask about her. They do not send messages, but they post things hoping she will notice. They say they are moving on, but every action is still secretly designed for her reaction. That is not moving on. That is hidden chasing. And hidden chasing keeps the wound alive. If you are not texting her, but you are checking her story every night, your attention is still with her. If you are not calling her, but you are asking friends what she is doing, your energy is still with her. If you are silent, but every post is created to make her wonder, your mind is still with her. If you are counting the days until she breaks silence, your life is still waiting at her door. That is why she may not feel real absence yet, because you have not fully taken your energy back. Real absence is not only when your words stop, real absence is when your attention returns to your own life. Your attention is your power. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. If your attention is on her, your energy feeds the wound. If your attention is on your body, your work, your money, your discipline, your sleep, your faith, your future, your energy builds power. Take it back. Your body needs you. Your work needs you. Your money needs you, your sleep needs you, your discipline needs you, your future needs you. Stop giving your strongest energy to someone who is giving you uncertainty. That is not hate, that is self respect. Now, imagine a man sitting alone at night. He has been strong all day. He worked, he trained, he told himself he was done. But then the room gets quiet. His phone is next to him. The memories start returning. He remembers how she used to text him first. He remembers the good mornings, the late night calls, the way she once sounded excited to hear his voice. He remembers the softness, the laughter, the moments where he felt chosen. Then the other memories come back, the cold replies, the distance, the excuses, the silence, the feeling of becoming smaller just to keep the connection alive, the waiting, the checking, the way one message from her could lift him and one absence could destroy him. And suddenly his mind starts negotiating. Maybe I should text. Maybe she is waiting. Maybe she thinks I do not care. Maybe this is my last chance. Maybe I should just ask for closure. But deep down, he knows the truth. He does not want closure. He wants relief. He wants the pain to stop. He wants one sign that he still matters. That is the moment where a man is either built or broken, because pain will always offer weak solutions. Pain says, text her. Discipline says, wait until you are calm. Pain says, check her story. Self respect says, stop feeding the wound. Pain says, ask about her. Strength says, stop outsourcing your peace. Pain says, beg one more time. Wisdom says, if begging worked, you would not be here. That is the battle. And every time you choose discipline over the urge, you rebuild self trust. You said you would not chase. Do not chase. You said you would not check. Do not check. You said you would not beg. Do not beg. Confidence is not built by telling yourself you are confident. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself when your emotions are loud. That is how a man becomes solid. And a solid man is not easy to pull back into chaos. Now, what exactly does she realize when you are truly not coming back? First, she realizes your attention was not cheap. This matters because when you kept giving attention after she gave distance, you taught her that access to you was easy. When you kept replying after being ignored, you taught her that she could disappear and still return to the same warmth. When you kept checking in after she went cold, you taught her that your emotional presence had no boundary. You may have meant well. You may have thought you were showing love, but without boundaries, love can become easy to take for granted. When you finally remove access, she feels the difference, not because you are playing a game, because your attention finally has value again. A man's attention should have value, his time should have value, his emotional energy should have value, his loyalty should have value, his presence should have value. And if someone treats those things like they are guaranteed, no matter how they behave, a self respecting man changes the terms. He does not argue, he does not threaten, he does not beg. He simply removes what was being taken for granted. That is powerful because it is clean, no drama, no revenge, no weakness, just self respect. Second, she realizes you are not emotionally waiting in the background anymore. This is different from just being silent. A lot of men are silent, but still emotionally waiting. They are waiting for a message, waiting for regret, waiting for a sign, waiting for a story view, waiting for her new relationship to fail, waiting for her to admit she was wrong. That kind of waiting can be felt. It leaks into your energy, it leaks into your posts, it leaks into your conversations, it leaks into the way you move. A woman can often sense when a man is pretending to be gone while secretly waiting to be called back. But when you are truly rebuilding, your energy changes. You stop moving like a man waiting to be chosen. You stop making decisions based on whether she might notice. You stop living like your future is on hold. You become harder to read because you are no longer emotionally leaking everywhere. That is not manipulation, that is stability, and stability is rare. Third, she realizes you are not trying to win the breakup. This is important because many men turn pain into competition. They want to post better, look happier, make her jealous, show her they are winning, show her another woman wants them, show her they are unbothered. But the whole performance proves the opposite. If everything you do is secretly for her reaction, you are still not free. A grounded man does not need to win the breakup. He needs to win himself back. He does not build his body, so she regrets it. He builds because his body is his responsibility. He does not make money, so she feels stupid. He makes money because his future matters. He does not become disciplined, so she comes back. He becomes disciplined because he refuses to live weak. That is real transformation. Fake growth says, I hope she sees this. Real growth says, I needed this, even if she never sees it. That is the difference. And when growth is real, it lasts. Now, here's where you have to be honest with yourself. Do you really want to be gone for real? Or do you want her to think you are gone so she comes running back? Because those are not the same thing. If your silence is only a way to get her attention, you are still controlled by her attention. If your distance is only a way to make her miss you, you are still controlled by whether she misses you. If your growth is only a way to make her regret, you are still controlled by her regret. That is not freedom. Freedom is when you can say, I still care, but I am not living for her reaction anymore. Freedom is when you can say, if she comes back with clarity, I will listen. If she does not, I will keep walking. Freedom is when you can say, I do not need her to feel the loss before I start rebuilding my life. That is the standard. Now, here's your 7 day reset for 7 days. Do not message her first from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not reread old messages until your chest hurts. Do not send a soft message when what you really want is reassurance. Put that energy into training, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and rebuilding your identity. Train your body even when your mind is heavy. Clean your room even when your emotions feel messy. Fix your sleep because tired men make weak decisions. Eat properly because heartbreak drains your focus. Walk when the urge to check hits. Write what you want to say, but do not send it from panic. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This is not about pretending you do not care. It is about proving that her absence does not own you. Every time you do not chase, you rebuild self trust. Every time you do not check, you rebuild control. Every time you do not ask about her, you rebuild dignity. Every time you keep your routine while hurting, you become stronger. This reset is not magic. It will not guarantee she comes back. It will not erase pain overnight. It will not make you forget, but it will do something more important. It will teach your nervous system that you can survive without chasing. It will teach your mind that you can feel pain without obeying it. It will teach your heart that missing someone does not mean returning to what broke you. That is healing. Now, if she reaches out after realizing you are not coming back, be careful. This is where many men lose the power they rebuilt. She sends one message: Hey, how have you been? I was thinking about you. I miss you. Can we talk? And suddenly the old man wakes up. He replies too fast. He writes too much. He asks if she missed him. He tries to force clarity. He pours months of pain into one conversation. He acts like he has been waiting by the phone the whole time. And she feels it. She feels that his silence was not growth, it was waiting. Do not be that man. A small message is not a full return. A hey is not accountability. And I miss you is not changed behavior. A late night text is not emotional maturity. A story view is not love. A woman touching the door is not the same as a woman walking through it with clarity. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. If she says, I miss you, you can say, what made you reach out? If she says, I've been thinking about us, you can say, I understand. What do you want to do with that? If she says, can we talk? You can say, we can talk, but I am not rushing back into anything. These are not games. They are calm boundaries. They show openness without desperation. They invite clarity without begging. They protect your peace without attacking her. A real return can handle patience. A fake return usually cannot. If she genuinely wants to reconnect, she will respect your pace. If she only wants emotional access, she may disappear when she realizes you are not easy anymore. Let that happen. You need truth more than temporary comfort because temporary comfort can pull you back into the same cycle that broke you. Truth sets you free. Now, if she comes back with guilt, stay centered. She may say, so you just stopped caring? She may say, you changed. She may say, you moved on fast. She may say, you never fought for me. Do not let guilt drag you back into the old pattern. You can care and still step back. You can love and still have boundaries. You can miss her and still refuse confusion. You can forgive and still move slowly. That is maturity. If she says, you changed, you can say, I had to. The old version of me kept losing himself. If she says you don't care anymore, you can say I care, but I am not chasing confusion anymore. If she says you just disappeared, you can say I stepped back because I needed peace. That is enough. Do not over explain. Do not defend your growth for an hour. Do not let your boundary become a debate. A man with a center speaks clearly, then watches behavior because behavior gives you information. If she respects your boundary, that is information. If she mocks it, that is information. If she takes accountability, that is information. If she only wants access without responsibility, that is information. Do not fear information. Fear ignoring it because fantasy feels better. Now, if she comes back with real accountability, do not punish her. This matters. Some men finally get the message they wanted, then become arrogant. They act cold. They say, now you want me. They try to make her feel small because she hurt them. That is not strength. That is pain pretending to be power. A strong man does not need revenge to feel masculine. If she comes with clarity, listen. If she comes with humility, observe. If she comes with consistent effort, allow trust to build slowly. But do not rush. Forgiveness can happen in a moment. Trust takes time. Do not confuse the two. If she apologizes, receive it calmly, but watch behavior. If she says she misses you, hear it, but watch consistency. If she wants to talk, talk, but do not throw away your peace. That is how a mature man moves. Now, if she comes back with confusion, step back. If she says, I miss you, but I do not know what I want, do not become her emotional waiting room. If she says, I care, but I am not ready, do not give full access to uncertainty. If she reaches out at night and disappears in the morning, do not chase. If she wants comfort without responsibility, step back. If she says she regrets it but still cannot communicate clearly, step back. A man with self respect does not build his peace on maybe. Maybe can have space. Maybe can have observation. Maybe does not get your whole heart. That is how you protect yourself. Now, let us talk about the part your ego may resist. If you are truly never coming back for real, you cannot secretly hope she suffers. That is not freedom, that is still attachment. If you need her to regret losing you before you can feel valuable, she still controls your value. If you need her to come back crying before you can feel strong, she still controls your strength. If you need her to admit she made a mistake before you can move forward, she still controls your future. A free man does not need revenge. He needs direction. A weak man says, I hope she feels what I felt. A strong man says, I hope I never abandon myself like that again. That is the higher path. Because the real damage was not only that she walked away, the real damage was what you almost became trying to keep her, the overthinking, the begging, the checking, the waiting, the apologizing for things that were not yours, the way one reply could lift you and one silence could destroy you. The way you made her attention, the center of your identity, that is what has to end. Not because of her, because of you. You cannot keep living like your peace belongs to someone else's phone. You cannot keep letting one woman's distance make you question your whole worth. You cannot keep giving full access to people who only give you confusion. At some point, a man has to stand up inside himself and say, I am done with this version of me. That is the real ending, not the end of love, not the end of care, the end of self abandonment. Now, if she never realizes you are gone, you still win if you become the man this process creates. This is the part many men avoid because they want the story to end with her regret. They want her to feel it. They want her to come back. They want proof that silence worked. They want the moment where she understands everything. Maybe that happens. Maybe it does not, but you cannot build your life around maybe. The highest proof is not her regret. The highest proof is your peace. Can you sleep without a reply? Can you train without needing her to notice? Can you work without checking your phone every 10 minutes? Can you stop asking about her? Can you feel sadness without turning it into begging? Can you remember her without reopening the wound? Can you love deeply without losing your frame? That is success because a man who can do that is no longer easy to break. He is harder to manipulate, harder to pull into chaos, harder to make insecure, harder to treat like an option, harder to replace with temporary attention. That man is attractive because he is not desperate for attraction. He has direction, and direction is one of the strongest things a man can have. A man with direction does not orbit around a woman's uncertainty. He has things to build. He has a body to strengthen. He has money to earn. He has skills to sharpen. He has faith to deepen. He has standards to protect. He has a future that does not pause because one person became unclear. That is real masculine power. Not forcing her to miss you, not making her regret, not playing games, becoming the man who no longer has to beg anyone to see his worth. Now, ask yourself the question that cuts through the fantasy. Do you want her back because she is good for your peace? Or do you want her back because being chosen again would heal the wound of rejection? Do you miss her character? Or do you miss the version of yourself you felt like when she wanted you? Do you want a healthy relationship or do you want proof that you were enough? These questions matter because sometimes a man does not want the woman back. He wants his ego repaired. He wants the silence to end. He wants the rejection reversed. He wants one message to prove he still matters. But that is not healing. That is still being controlled by the wound. Real healing is when you no longer need her return to feel valuable. Real healing is when you no longer need her regret to respect yourself. Real healing is when you can say, if she comes back with clarity and respect, I will listen. If she does not, I will keep walking. That is freedom. And freedom is stronger than being missed. Freedom is not checking. Freedom is not waiting. Freedom is not performing. Freedom is not making your healing depend on her reaction. Freedom is when you choose yourself so consistently that her absence no longer destroys your identity. That is the man you are becoming. Now, imagine yourself months from now if you do this right. You are not checking anymore. You are sleeping better. Your body is stronger, your work is sharper, your money is improving, your routine is cleaner, your emotions are steadier. You can think about her without collapsing. You can remember the good times without reopening the wound. You can see her name and not lose your frame. You can care without chasing. You can miss without begging. You can love without losing yourself. That is what never coming back really means. You are not just refusing to return to her. You're refusing to return to weakness. You're refusing to return to emotional dependence. You're refusing to return to confusion. You're refusing to return to the man who needed someone else's attention to feel okay. That is transformation. And transformation is the only revenge that does not poison you. It does not attack her. It does not hate her. It does not need her to suffer. It simply makes you better. Now, tonight, when your mind tells you to check if she feels your absence, do not check. When your ego wants proof that she regrets it, do not search for proof. When your heart wants to send one small message, do not send from panic. When loneliness tells you to reopen a door that hurt you, breathe, put the phone down. Stand up, drink water, walk, train, pray, work, sleep, me, bill. Do one thing that makes tomorrow better. Because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak, you can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she did not expect. Not the man who begged, not the man who folded, not the man who stayed silent only to wait, the man who hurt but stayed composed. The man who cared but did not abandon himself. The man who wanted her but did not make her return the measure of his worth. The man who turned silence into strength, pain into standards, and absence into direction. That man is hard to manipulate. That man is hard to replace. That man is free. So remember this. The moment she realizes you are never coming back for real is not about making her suffer. It is about you finally refusing to suffer in the same old pattern. It is about you taking back your attention. It is about you no longer being available for confusion. It is about you refusing to chase a closed door. It is about you accepting reality without begging it to change. It is about you becoming calm enough to walk away without needing revenge. It is about the old version of you ending, the version that begged, the version that checked, the version that over explained, the version that waited, the version that made her silence louder than your purpose. That man is not coming back. If she returns with clarity, you listen. If she returns with accountability, you observe. If she returns with consistency, you move slowly. If she returns with confusion, you step back. If she never returns, you keep walking. Because the deepest truth is this: the goal is not to make her realize you are gone. The goal is to become so grounded that you no longer need her realization to keep moving forward.